Bianca.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. Thank you.
Good. So, why don't we start off with giving us a little background of yourself, if you're comfortable, where you live, what you do, just kind of give us a quick background on you.
So I live in Minneapolis. Um, I work as a technical writer. Um, I was born in South America. Uh, my husband is Swedish. We've lived all over the place. Um, yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so let's start off with what got you to the point you're at right now. So, as far as do you consider yourself a spiritual person now? Do you tend to lean towards the more scientific end of things? Have you always been that way your whole life? What kind of led you up to this point of sitting here right
Um,
now?
yes, I've always been very scientific. I have a degree in engineering, and I've always loved science. Um, and that's one of the things that I love about Dr. Joe, that he brings science to it and brain scans and all these things and the waves of the brain. And so it's not just woo stuff, it's like solid. Like they tested the genes of people after 4 days of meditation, all this stuff. It's so real, and it just, that's what I like about him. um, but yes, also tended to be very spiritual, especially like the last 10 years. Um, this thing in me, or this in the back of my head, always, that there has to be more than this routine that we do every day and get up and go to work and, pay bills. And like, I always felt that there had to be more, but I just didn't know what it was, or I couldn't connect to it, or I feel like it was like my soul screaming at me, but I never actually had that connection until now.
Wow, I can totally relate to that. And I think a lot of people can. So, well, if you can share with us what it sounds like your soul finally had to do to really shake you so you would listen.
So unfortunately, or fortunately, um, I got a cancer diagnosis, and I really believe that that was just a message from my body or my soul giving me a wake up call and making me realize that I had to change things in my life that were not working, and a lot of limiting beliefs, a lot of the way I thought about life. 'Cause once I got that diagnosis, it just made me stop or like, just break and look at my life and start to heal emotionally. So yeah, I think that was just a message for my soul and my body.
So, what happened with the cancer diagnosis? Share with us a little bit about. Did you go conventional medicine? What path did you take?
My dad had cancer, four different kinds of cancer. So I know what he went through. I know the whole thing. For some reason, I just felt that it wasn't chemotherapy. It didn't feel right for me. So from the beginning, I said no chemotherapy and no radiation. Um, I did some other therapies in a clinic I found in California. Uh, Long story short, it didn't exactly work, so I went back to the conventional doctors, but I still refused chemo and radiation. But the one thing I did over the last year was dive into healing the emotional part of me, um, because I just knew that I've always lived in fear. All, all the decisions I've made in my life were fear-based decisions. Um, so I knew I had to change that. And that's when Dr. Joe came in, and I started doing his work in December. And it just, reading his books, it makes so much sense. He talks about, and overcoming yourself. And um, so one of the things, the limiting beliefs and things I had is I've always been introvert, and I've always been told all my life that that's wrong, that you have to talk more and you have to push yourself and you have to be social and you have to all these things. So the message I got was there's something wrong with you. You're weird. You don't belong. You have to change the way you are. I felt rejected. I felt not accepted. And that is I think that's eventually what made me sick, because like what Dr. Joe says, you live in fight or flight mode all your life. I really lived like that because I really thought that people were mean. Um, at some point when I was a teenager, I concluded that people were mean, hypocrite. They want to hurt you. They want to take advantage of you. All these things. So I just assumed that of everybody just to protect myself. So I really lived in fight or flight mode every single day, just like waiting to be hurt by someone or be lied to, or and that I see it as that my immune system was probably so low, and so I got sick because of that.
Absolutely.
So so now it's trying to change that. All these labels I had of too shy, too quiet. I was told I had social anxiety, uh, and that's what I became. I became that. Uh, when you're, yeah, like what he says, when you're told so many things, you become that.
You do.
So I think what he does is so amazing. Like overcoming yourself. Like I went to therapy so many years, and people go to therapy and it's helpful, but you sit there and you just tell the story all over. It's like you're
Regurgitating it constantly.
yeah, and you're the victim when you go there and
Yes.
there and oh, and this happened to me, and oh, it's so sad in my life, and you are the victim. So yeah, but when you do Dr. Joe stuff, it's so empowering. It's like you take control of your life and you're not a victim. You change for yourself and you do the meditations and you do the work, and it's like completely different.
Wow. Wow. That's so beautiful. So I mean, obviously it's very brave of you to, from the very beginning, even though you said you've lived by fear your whole life, you were brave enough and courageous enough in the beginning of your diagnosis to say, no, no chemo, no, I'm not going to go that conventional way. How did friends and family react to that? Did you have
Uh,
support in that?
I did. My husband, he has been very supportive. He doesn't really understand what I'm doing or the reasons, or but he was scared for a while, and um, but I think now he believes in me, and uh, like he supported me. I went to Cancun this year, uh, and he doesn't know, he doesn't understand, but he said, "Okay, go." Um, and my mother and my brother, they were supportive, and I think people are starting to hear more and more about stories and cases, people that don't do the conventional thing and they're healed. And so like that happened with my mom. She knew of somebody who healed
Mm,
doing something else. So then I think that calmed her down. Um, and I have aunts, a couple of aunts, they're very, very spiritual. So they really believe in what I'm doing.
yeah. Yeah, that's so good. Support's such a huge thing
Yeah.
in this process. So share with us where you are now as far as the cancer diagnosis and as far as just where you're at in your life emotionally.
Um, so the diagnosis, I'm still working on it. Um, I had an MRI in August, and the tumors had shrunk probably 40%
Wow.
from February.
Wow.
So the surgeon said we can do surgery or you can keep doing what you're doing and see. So I said, let's keep doing what I'm doing.
Yeah, something's working, right?
Yeah. So I have another MRI in November scheduled to see. And emotionally, it's just amazing. I have learned so much in the last year. In Cancun, I had so many experiences, healings at different levels. And something that I think happened in Cancun was I dropped that label of social anxiety. Um, I had a panic attack Monday night. So the workshop started Monday night. I had a panic attack because
Wow.
I couldn't, I was shaking, I was crying. I kept thinking, what is this? Because I was overwhelmed with 700 people and I didn't know anybody. And I knew Amanda.
And this was the first Dr. Joe workshop you
Yep.
had been to.
So I kept thinking, what did I get myself into? I'm not gonna make it till the end of the week. Like just complete
Yeah.
panic attack.
Yeah.
When we had our group meeting at the end at that night, I couldn't even. I just turned around. I was crying. That when we had our group meeting the second night, our team leader, he saw me and he said, "Can you please stand in the center of the circle?" And he asked everybody to say a word to describe me. And of course, everybody said beautiful things, like strong, courageous. And they didn't even know about my cancer diagnosis or anything. So of course, I'm just crying. So I told my team leader that it was amazing that he did that because when I was in seventh grade, they did kind of the same thing in my classroom. But when people said something about me, they said, just, you're too shy, too quiet, too introvert. Every single person said that. Nobody said anything positive. And so that was a burn in my brain.
Wow.
All my life. And I became that even more. So when in Cancun, when that happened and people went around and they just said these beautiful things, I felt like, okay, this is a new beginning for me.
New
This
beginning.
is late. So that was like, wow. So when I told my team leader that, he said, you just gave me chills because I wasn't planning to do that. I just saw you right there and something in me told me or pushed me to do that as a healing for you. So
And what an amazing healing.
yeah, that was beautiful. And later in the week, we had a meditation in the afternoon. And when you lay down after the meditation, I was lying down, I had my eyes closed. I saw this bright light and I felt a presence. Like, I mean, there was a presence there. And I heard, I mean, it wasn't a voice, but I got the message that healing, it's like the voice was saying, or the message said, do you understand that that was for you? That healing was for you. So I just started crying. And never, since then, I mean, I was just overwhelmed with love and it was just amazing. It was amazing.
And for those that watch this that have never been to a workshop, can you try to describe in a couple words, if you can, what that was like for you from beginning to end, going through 7 days of?
It's the thing that I was so amazed with the most was the love that you feel. I have never felt anywhere else. I haven't felt from my family or friends. It's true love. It's unconditional love. It's love from strangers, people I will probably never see again, some of them. But it's like I can't even describe the hugs these people give. I had never been hugged like that. It's like you're hugged with your soul. It's not just like, it's like,
The best huggers, aren't they?
yes. um, I mean, I was in hugs, like 5 people were around me hugging. That was just amazing. I didn't know love like that existed. So that was the most beautiful thing that you feel there. And just the energy. I think a lot of healings and a lot of aha moments happen in these workshops just because there's so many people, like-minded people, that we're all trying to raise our vibration. So it's very, very powerful.
It's very powerful. They have changed my life in every way. So I know everything you say. I know exactly what you mean. And it is such a beautiful thing to have 7, 8, 900 people there, like you said, all like-minded and with just love for each other, with no expectations, no judgments, no, just sharing and love. So I can completely relate. Okay, so a couple more questions, Monica. What is one piece of advice or words of wisdom, something you could say to somebody that's watching this right now that may have either a similar diagnosis to you, or maybe they also have struggled with, being an introvert their whole life, or, very limited in beliefs? What's one piece of advice you would give them that they could take and use and start to change their life?
That you are powerful. You are powerful. You have it in you. You just have to believe it. You have to connect with that. You have to, if you're doing Dr. Joe's work, you have to do the work and just get out, do the meditations, and just don't give up. Don't give up and keep going. It's possible. It is possible. Just you have to believe it. You have to know that you have it in you. It's not outside of you. It's in you. You have the power. You can go to therapy, you can go to psychologists, you can go to psychotherapy, and if it helps you, that's wonderful. But I believe you have to do more than that, and it's in you. You have it in you. So believe in yourself. Don't give up. Just keep going. I have to tell myself every day because I'm not. Sometimes it's hard to get up and do the meditations, but I read the posts from everybody and people that have been doing this for longer, and yes, just keep going, don't give up.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And Monica, where you are at in your life right now, are you happy?
Yes, I am. I'm so thankful that I've found this. I'm so thankful for everything that happened in Cancun. I am so I still have a long way to go. I mean, I'm not like, yay, I'm the happiest
It's a
person.
journey. It's a journey.
Yeah. But, and I'm not an extrovert, and I don't want to be that. But it's just, if I'm an introvert and I just want to sit in a corner with a book and have silence, to be okay with it and not feel uncomfortable and not feel that I'm weird. And so I think that's one of the biggest things, to accept myself and love myself the way I am. And there's nothing wrong with me. And another thing that I love about that is different now is the way I see life. Like I'm just in awe of things. Like you're on a walk and you see a tree or the rainbow or just a cloud, and it's like, wow, like we live in this magical world, and most of us are just completely blind because we're just, lost in our heads. But now I'm starting to, wow. So that's pretty cool.
It is that I would tell you it's funny that you bring that up because Scott and I talk about that a lot when we see sunsets or trees or clouds even. And we're like, does anybody else see this beauty? Like, is anyone else seeing this? And like you said, before when we were caught up in our lives, you get so blindsided, like you said, instead of just opening your focus and looking around and being happy just because you can be happy because you just are surrounded by so much beauty. And unfortunately, I think a lot of people miss that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I love that. Excuse me. And the last question I'll leave you with. So I talk about love over fear all the time. That's my motto. It's what I try to live by. And I know you mentioned growing up with a lot of fear in your life. So what does love over fear mean to you in your own life? When you hear those words, what does that mean to you?
So I actually read this just a couple of days ago that it spoke to me. It said, fear is contraction and love is expansion. And that just spoke to me because I always feel like I've always been like this all my life. Like, and I've always made myself small, so small. And it's because of the fear. Like it's, but love is like, oh, you're just free and you let go of things. It's just such complete different feeling. Um, yeah, I think that's mainly why.
I love that. What a beautiful quote.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I felt that when you said that. I was like, wow, that's absolutely, absolutely what it is. Well, thank you so, so, so much for sharing your story with me and with everybody who watches this. And I know it will inspire a lot of people. I know a lot of people can relate. So thank you so much. It's so brave what you're doing. It's so, so, so brave. So it gives other people permission in their lives to do the same. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm sure we will see each other in person
Yes.
at a workshop. So, mwah, all love to you. Keep
Thank
up the work.
you. Okay.
Bye.